Hi, I'm Ronnie from Ronnie's Garage. Today we're holding our monthly tech meet and we're going to be doing a tune-up on a Silver Cloud 3. Here's my secret tool. This is called a speed handle, okay, and it's long. Long means you can get into tight places. So what I'll do is gently take these spark plug boots off, because these are like original. These have rigor mortis. It should fall right down. So I don't want to put spark plug wires on this, because that's a much more difficult job. Alright, so this one is conveniently located above the starter solenoid. Okay, let's see if they come out nicely. There we go. That looks pretty nice. See how it's light colored on the tip? It's a little dark there, but that's pretty nice for a Silver Cloud. We'll see if there's any bad looking ones in there. I don't know. That's about the same. That actually looks better. See how the electrode part is clean? That looks much better. Now you'll notice probably, I almost guarantee you that, okay, this front one was dark around the bottom. I bet you the back one's dark around the bottom too. Because the intake manifold is split between the two carburetors. And one carburetor will feed the inside plugs on one side. Oh, good. Okay, well, see, my guarantee didn't come out right. You're criticizing my work. How dare you? More oily? Okay, now, yeah, that one was a little darker. Not oily, but darker. Darker means richer. Oily means not good. Yeah, it's usually valve guides or rings that are pumping oil. See how easy that was to get out? Right. But you can see that one's definitely dark too, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we had one, the number 2, that would be A2. The banks are numbered. A is the right bank, 1 through 4, front to back. Oh, well, see, that was only clean on one side. Look at the other side. Yeah. That could indicate a little valve seal leakage. Okay, that's that side. Let's go do the other side. Pull them off.
And you think those spark plugs need to be replaced or just scraped with a wire brush?
We're going to put new ones in. You could scrape. You can save them if you like. But I'd hate to do a roadside repair on this. At least every 12,000 miles, but on these cars that would be 10 years sometimes. So if the car is started up and not driven much, out on the highway, they're going to load up quicker. See, on one side is dark and the other side is not. So don't ask me what that means exactly. You got to talk to a guy older than me who did tune-ups back in the day. They knew. Well, you can ask him. There's another one that's pretty clean. That's how they really should look, or like a light tan maybe.
Is there any special type of spark plug we should be using on this?
Not on these so much. I use NGK GR5s, I think. Pretty close. That one looks real nice, doesn't it? Yeah, I like that one.
But I see advertised with gold-tipped ones for spark plugs and things.
Platinum, iridium. That's another one.
Is it good to use the new technologies in these?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. As long as you get the right heat range. You don't want to go too far out of the heat range. We're just going to use, this is, originally these were RN12 ICs, or RN12s, I think, which have a shorter snout here. Most of the modern spark plugs have the long snout, which it works in here. There's no interference. Sometimes carbon builds up around the outside edge that's sticking into the combustion chamber when you back it out. But it's just an old car, right? It's just an old car. And they say they're pre-gapped, which means they're gapped something. This is a standard spark plug. There's not much, you can't really damage them by gapping them. You get the high-end spark plugs where they have this thin coating of iridium or platinum or all of that. If you use an aggressive gapping tool, you can scrape that off and diminish the life a little bit, I would guess. But if these are not gapped evenly, you'll definitely have different firing. The wider the gap, the hotter it's going to get.
How are the gaps on these
The
original
book
plugs?
calls for, I think, 25 to 28. I usually set them at 35. That's an old trick I learned from Pontiac tune-up mechanic, my dad.
You say 35?
He said it makes them idle better. Yeah. Because it's hotter, and in an idle, it's going to be a pretty loaded up condition. So,
What
this'll-
gap do you have on the original plugs that you just took out?
I didn't check those.
Oh, you didn't check them?
So that would be particularly.
I'm not interested in what those are gapped. I'm interested in what these are gapped.
So the big gap would be particularly good when a car is just idled around town and not used very much.
Yeah, or if it's started up on choke all the time, it'll load up. So what I'm doing is just tapping it. I was at 38, so I'm just going to set it to 35. This is how I do it. And you think, well, this is a little worn. It's not perfect. It's not exact, but so long as they're all about the same, that's what's important.
Do you do the same gap for all Cloud series?
Yeah, I do. And I'm not banging it because you don't want to close it up. You close up that gap and you will have a dead misfire because it won't spark. These are all been so far like 38. The shadows with electronic ignition I think are 40.
What did NGK say they were gapped at?
I don't know. Can you look that up for me on your phone? You see, they come with these tubes, and that's to protect the gap in case they get dropped. That one I got a little too aggressive on. Okay.
You didn't put champions in it?
I did not.
It's just a standard plug.
Yeah, it's just a standard plug. That's what came out of it. Okay.
Yeah, they don't need.
Don't ever try to put your spark plug in with one of these. Don't ever try to start it. He even said don't even do it by finger. And the reason being, if you cross-thread that head, you're going to have some problems. This is the best way, is with like an old spark plug boot on a screwdriver or something like that. So what happens is if you get cockeyed, it stops turning. So you know you're cockeyed. And then when they're right, they just screw right in.
I always do them with my finger on the tip.
But some cars, it's not real accessible. And this, like if you do a tune-up on a Silver Shadow, those spark plugs are buried from the top, and especially on the reservoir side. You can't get to them. You can't get your hands in there hardly. Yeah. So this is the fail. I mean, this is a no-brainer type deal. You can also use a little piece of vacuum hose, but I found that the spark plug boot holds the spark plugs. So now just see what happened here?
You gotta re-gap
You
them.
recheck the gap, because 9 times out of 10 they land this way. And I have put them in thinking, oh, that'll be fine, and had to pull them back out because they were dead misfire. It definitely, I could see. Okay. All right, let me put these in. Start with the easy side. If you look, this is so easy, and this has a little ratchet, so I like this thing. And you can run them in until they stop turning, until the boot starts slipping. Never cross thread one this way. The only time you'll cross thread it if it's already cross threaded. And then you got there are special tools to try to save the threads. Sometimes you have to drill them out and put like sleeves in. It's not fun. And you think about doing it when the head's on the engine, metal shavings are going to go inside. Now most of the time they'll just fly out the exhaust, but not always. All right, let's do the other side.